Hello. Okay, so on this wonderful Tuesday morning, happy Tuesday everyone, what is my low, my high, my act of kindness? I guess both my low and my high are kind of the same thing because, yesterday evening, because I don't think I've ever really mentioned this before, but my dad is, he's kind of a busy guy. I mean, outside of work, he's involved with, a few really big important things. He's involved with Rotary in our area. He's involved with, the American Legion, doing charity work and stuff. And he's involved in, the parish council up in Corning. And for that last one, he had a meeting last night, and between that and my mom working, I was by myself, so I didn't really get to see him that much. But in a way, it's kind of a good thing. I'm 32 years old. I'm a big boy. I don't need to see my parents all the time. And it's not like I didn't see my dad all yesterday. I mean, I did see him yesterday for a little while, and it was nice. But I guess that evening family time that was missing, that brought about my low. And while my high is it was nice to be by myself. I'm not going to say it's all bad. It is nice to be on your own once in a while. It's good for you. It lets you. Excuse me. I've had. Excuse me. Man, my allergies have been acting up ever since Memorial Day. I swear I got my allergies playing with my nephews on Memorial Day. I know I did. Because I didn't mention that. Because back on Memorial Day when I played with my nephews, I didn't mention there was like a wave of pollen flying around via the dandelions floating. Which, I will admit, when I was a kid, I totally used to pick up, dandelions when they were the big puff ball things and be like, watch them blow away. That was fun. But I don't do that anymore. No kidding though. I once read that dandelions are actually edible. And out of the blue, one time I picked it up and it's not I didn't like it, just didn't really have anything to drink it with in case it tasted bad, which it didn't. But I didn't want to have the taste of dirt in my mouth the entire time, so I tasted dirt in a bad way. I mean, so I'm like just trying to cough it up or whatever. Okay, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Plus, the fact that I was by myself, I did get a few things done. I cleaned up my apartment a little bit. It definitely looks nicer than it did when I started, so that's good. And, that was my act of kindness. Because sometimes my mom is really, really cool, even when she doesn't have to be. And, she'll check on my apartment every now and again. I mean, she's my mom. She's worried about me. Why would she? And not that I don't do a good job keeping my apartment clean, but this time, I'm going to make sure that if my mom does have to clean up anything in my apartment, it's going to be really easy for her to do. And for the most part, I think I did. I mean, I cleaned up my bathroom, cleaned up my kitchen, washed a couple of the floors, picked up pretty much everything in my room. I mean, by my recollection, the only things in my room right now that are on my floor are like another pair of shoes I have. Which, I've actually been alternating between, hold on a second, I'll be right back. Lately, I've been alternating between wearing these shoes and wearing these. Yes, New Balance does not sponsor this video, by the way. It's funny. Back when I was really into running, New Balance was like the only shoe I could wear because I have a very wide foot. here's the thing, it's really more like a 12 and a half, 13 roughly, but it's wide. Like, you gotta be giving me a 4E if you're giving me a shoe. And New Balance is the only one that really specializes in, wide feet. But I tell you what though, finding good pairs of running shoes is hard. Because for those of you who don't know, runners really, they really thrive on having light equipment to use when they run, including the shoes. Like, it may look like, the shoes I just showed you, they do look nice. I mean, they're not running shoes, but let's say they were, they'd be extremely heavy for a runner. Now, I will admit, I was always sort of a bigger guy, so I don't really think I noticed that much of a difference. But I guess just having the light, because I did have really light shoes at one point, like really light shoes, like, like the metal spike cleats and stuff that runners wear. I definitely use them for cross country. Didn't really use them so much for the marathon running. Marathon running, I did have a lighter pair of shoes, but I really wanted, because really it wasn't just for like feeling any sort of significant difference. It's just, I try to do, because here's the thing, when you run a marathon, obviously doing all the proper training, that's important, absolutely. But what's also important is doing a little bit of research, like what shoes do people wear? At what point do, people hydrate throughout? At what point during this race are you gonna, find a hill of some kind? Like, those sorts of preparations are also key to, running a marathon successfully. And even if I didn't personally notice anything, just the comfort of like, okay, I did all my training, I have the equipment that I feel like I want to have and use, like, that's comforting. And you definitely want to go into a race feeling comfortable in that regard. Obviously, no matter, if you're at a race, your heart's going to be racing going in. Even a little bit. It does. It just does. Because you're nervous, because, you want to do well. Although, as someone who's ran 4 marathons myself, I do have, some pointers in case you're interested in doing that, and, you want to do well for yourself. Well, foremost, I hope you already like running, because you gotta be doing a lot of it. Like, a lot of it. Full disclosure, before my first marathon, I actually weighed around 250 pounds. And when I knew I was going to run the marathon, because here's the thing, I was doing the Cedar Arts Theater production of Hairspray, and it was August, and the Wine Glass Marathon was in October. And, I ate a heck of a lot better, if not less than what I did. I was working out twice a day, and I lost over 40 pounds before my first marathon. Oh yeah, you heard right, over 40 pounds. And that definitely helped, but I was working out twice a day. You better believe I did my 20-mile taper. You gotta be doing all that. Run. That's all you got. Now, obviously, running may not be the greatest thing to do in the world, so you gotta have something else to take your mind off it. My other recommendation, good music. I'm not particularly picky when it comes to music. If I hear a song that's good and I like it, of course I'm gonna listen to it, especially when I run. But for me, the songs that got me going were the song, like, I need something to really motivate me. Something to say, no, like, this is my run. I may not want to do it, but gosh darn, I want to do it, and I'm going to get it done. Songs like really motivate you and pump you up, get your heart racing. Dragon Force is actually a godsend when it comes to music like this. Other music, AC/DC obviously works. a little bit of Kiss, Guns N' Roses, Twisted Sister. You gotta have rap music, of course. So, I mean, if I didn't already mention this before, I'll mention it again. Eminem is my all-time favorite rapper. So you better believe I'm listening to songs like Till I Collapse, Berserk, Without Me is okay for running. Lose Yourself from the 8 Mile. Yeah, that's kind of good for, it's good, but I wouldn't necessarily call it running. Again, songs like, Berserk and Till I Collapse, those songs are great for working out in. Especially my gosh, I probably listened Till I Collapse, 1,000 times over the years. If that. Seriously, I'll never forget. That was my song I listened to before I wrestled. Like, that's how much I love that song. Because I guess it brought about the message like, until I collapse, I'm going to lay it all out there. And yes, you should in anything you do. But that's another thing. When you run a marathon, run smart, not hard. Okay? A marathon is 26.2 miles. You are going to be doing this for a long time. My PR for a marathon is 3 hours and 10 minutes. Almost 3:11. And that's okay, but 3 hours and 10 minutes is still a very long time. And I actually know it, and I actually knew what I was doing. Oh, almost. I'm still mad at my mom and my aunt for convincing me to do something prior to doing that marathon that got me sick, but that's a story for another day. Another thing, just ask. If you know anyone else who's getting ready for a marathon or know someone else who's running a marathon, ask what they do. See if that works for you. I'm sure that, because here's the thing, there's no way you're training for a marathon within a month before, you do it. I'm sure you have plenty of time to ask around and, say, hey, listen, what did you do? What music did you listen to? When did you do this? How did you handle this particular hill? There's lots of questions you can ask. Or go to the internet. I mean, we live in the day of social media and the internet. Someone's going to have an answer somewhere. In fact, no kidding, some of the best advice I ever got was on the day of a marathon when there was this one guy who was like using a blowhorn, asking questions about everyone. And one thing he mentioned was hydrate early and often. Basically, if you see a water station or a Gatorade station, just go for it and drink it. Do it. Just take like a thing of water and like do that. That definitely made a difference. I mean, not for me necessarily because it was a really cold day every time I did a marathon, but knowing that I followed the advice of someone who clearly knew better than me, that was comforting. This is probably a little bit TMI, but one other advice, make sure you go to the bathroom before you do this. Just do so. If you can find a way to go number 2 prior to your race, just do it. Get it over with. That's gonna do you a lot of favors. Like, literally void everything you have in your system. Just do that. Get it over with. Unfortunately, you're gonna be surrounded by outhouses. Just grin and bear it. Better go in an outhouse than, go in the middle of the woods and during the middle of your race. Like, take care of business before you run, What other advice do I have? Well, this is going to sound kind of negative to say, but I really feel I got to stress this just simply because if I don't, you could probably wind up making yourself feel bad, but don't go into a marathon thinking you're going to win the whole thing, because you're not. You know, every time I've ever ran a marathon, there was no way I was at the very front. No way. Like, the first marathon I ran, because here's the thing, I very much lowered my expectations. I mean, I had done a lot of training, because again, you know, working out twice a day, losing over 40 pounds. I did not think I'd do as well as I did. I believe that day I did around 3 hours and 14 minutes, which again is impressive. But whenever you're lining up for a marathon, there's like groups of people where there's one guy holding like, you know, time markers or whatever. And I think I hung around like the 3 hour, 45 minutes, 3 hours and 50 minutes guy, just simply because I really didn't think I was going to do that well. And honestly, throughout the race, I just found myself, you know, passing this person and passing this person. I'm like, wait, am I really doing this? Because I don't feel like tired at all. So lower your expectations, start farther in the back of the line than you think you would. And, you know, if you already know you're not going to win, that's a huge burden off your shoulders. Because honestly, a bigger win for running 26.2 miles is just crossing that finish line. And having done that myself 4 times, you know, it was bad for me just simply because I actually wanted to qualify for Boston. I never did. And while I'm still going to be having some hang-ups about that, I really should just take the important moral victory for what it is. You know, I ran 4 marathons. You know, I did it my way. And while my way and your way, if you're going to do this, are probably different, I still feel that there's something in the advice I've now given you that should put you in the right direction. And that's nice. So I hope you all like this video. If you did, leave a like. You know, please subscribe. You know, that would definitely be very helpful for me. As always, I am very humbled in this video for all of you guys who watch and enjoy for them. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, we're here to land. Sorry back. Take care and make good choices. Have a nice day.